Welcome to this explainer. Imagine this. You have the power to access crucial legal information literally right at your fingertips. Today, we're diving into a complete guide on how to navigate the Bergen County court system. If you've ever needed to uncover public records, track a local dispute, or just figure out how the justice system operates in your own backyard, well, you are in exactly the right place.
Whether you're a journalist digging into a complex story, a legal researcher verifying facts, or honestly, just a curious citizen wanting to run a quick background check, mastering this process is a huge advantage. It really empowers you. Understanding how to pull these public records, that's step one in demystifying the legal process and getting some real transparency.
So here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll map out the Bergen County court system, then decode some key legal terminology. After that, we'll jump into searching court records online, followed by in-person courthouse searches. Finally, we'll cover the rules, ethics, and exemptions, and wrap it all up with a conclusion and legal disclaimer. Let's get to it.
Section 1. The Bergen County court system. Because to find what you're looking for, you first need to know exactly how the local justice system is structured. The judicial system is kind of like a giant sorting machine. Notice how the Superior Court over in Hackensack handles the heavy hitters, general civil trials, major criminal indictments, and family disputes? But right nearby, you've got the Surrogates Court. That one is super specialized for things like probate, contesting wills in the states. Meanwhile, your local municipal courts, they're handling the everyday stuff like traffic violations, DUIs, and local borough ordinances. And finally, if you're dealing with federal U.S. law, civil rights claims, or multi-state disputes, you're looking at the federal court located down in Newark. Knowing this hierarchy is a total game changer. It literally saves you hours of looking in the wrong place.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how the Superior Court divides up its own massive workload. For example, civil cases are split strictly by dollar amount. The civil part takes the massive disputes, anything over $20,000, while the special civil part manages anything under that, all the way down to small claims under $5,000. The criminal division handles the serious adult indictable offenses, but Bergen County also takes a rehabilitative approach for certain cases, offering specialty courts. They have a recovery court for substance abuse and a dedicated veterans court, which actually provides an 18-month diversion program involving VA treatment. It's a much more nuanced approach to justice than you might expect.
Moving on to Section 2, decoding key legal terminology. Let's build a solid foundation so you know exactly what to type into those search bars.
Think of the docket number as the DNA of your court case. It's this unique string of letters and numbers assigned the very second a case is filed. Now, sure, you can sometimes search the system by a plaintiff or defendant's name, but having this exact alphanumeric string, it is the absolute quickest, most precise way to pull a file. It completely saves you from sifting through dozens of different people who might just happen to share a common name like John Smith. Basically, if you have the docket number, you have the file.
So you might be wondering, why are you even allowed to see these records in the first place? Well, it's because of OPRA, the Open Public Records Act. This is the legislative key that guarantees transparency. It gives you, the public, the absolute legal right to view government and court documents in New Jersey. It's the exact law that ensures the justice system remains accountable to everyday citizens.
All right, Section 3, searching court records online. Now that we know our way around the structure and the jargon, let's explore how to pull this data right from your own computer screen. The state has honestly made incredible strides in digital access. By visiting the New Jersey Courts Find a Case tool online, you just select your category, type in that all-important docket number we just talked about, and hit search. Once you click the file, boom, you can view the entire timeline of court events and pleadings. Now, a quick troubleshooting tip for you. If you run into system errors or find an incomplete record, try broadening your search parameters. Or, just double-check that you haven't accidentally typed a typo into the docket number. Precision is absolutely key here. However, depending on the severity or type of the case, you might actually need to pivot to a specialized portal. Promise/Gavel, for instance, is the specific public access system used to track indictable criminal matters all the way from an initial arrest to final sentencing. Then there's eCourts. That's a system heavily utilized by attorneys for electronic filing, though registered self-represented litigants can use it too. For Supreme Court reviews, you'll use the Track Appeals portal. And if your search takes you up to the federal level, you'll need the PACER system. Just a heads up, PACER does require a registered account and charges a tiny fee, 10 cents per page, to view documents.
Section 4. In-person courthouse searches. Because sometimes the digital trail just runs cold and you simply have to head down to the Superior Court Clerk's office in person. When you have to go the manual route, you've got to be precise. First, you need to grab the CN 1020-00 Records Request Form.
Without following these exact steps, court staff will literally just reject your request. So you must completely fill out Part C to identify the specific case, and if it's sensitive, attach your photo ID. You can then submit the whole shebang either physically at the courthouse or digitally through JEDS. That's the Judiciary Electronic Document Submission Portal, which brilliantly bridges the gap between paper forms and online processing.
Now, what if you don't have that DNA level docket number we talked about earlier? Well, here is a critical warning for you. If you leave the docket number blank on your form without providing alternative details, specifically the defendant's full name, date of birth, or social security number, your request is going to be automatically denied. The system has really strict validation rules. Court staff simply cannot go on a wild goose chase for you. You literally have to give them the exact coordinates to find the file.
Moving on to Section 5, Rules, Ethics, and Exemptions. Let's dive into the boundaries here, because not every single document inside the courthouse is meant for public eyes.
The court has to strike a really delicate balance between public transparency and protecting confidential, sensitive personal histories. So routine civil suits, active pleadings, traffic violations, those are generally public under OPRA. But juvenile case files, adoptions, and substance abuse reports from places like the Recovery Court, those are highly restricted. In fact, recent rule amendments even explicitly exclude records relating to name change proceedings from public access. This ensures vulnerable plaintiffs are fully protected from exposure or harassment, which makes total sense.
If you are a direct party to one of these sensitive cases, like a divorce or a name change, you can access the files, but mandatory verification applies. You absolutely must attach a redacted photo ID to your request form. Actually, forgetting this specific proof of identity is a frequent oversight that leads to an automatic rejection. And if you aren't a party to the case, well, you're going to need a formal judge's court order to even peek at those documents. Finally, Section 6, Conclusion and Legal Disclaimer. Let's wrap this up with some very important ethical guardrails, because with the power of public access comes significant legal responsibility.
You really must understand that utilizing this public data for illegitimate reasons violates federal law. Because third-party record search portals are not consumer reporting agencies under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, or FCRA, you absolutely cannot use this information for things like evaluating tenant screening, establishing personal credit eligibility, or conducting employment background checks. Furthermore, misusing this data for stalking, harassing, or intimidating others isn't just unethical. It can subject you to severe civil and criminal penalties. Definitely not worth it.
And of course, this explainer is strictly for informational purposes. It does not constitute legal advice. We've mapped out the territory for you today, but remember that navigating complex litigation ultimately requires the compass of a certified legal professional. Always consult a licensed lawyer for specific legal issues, representation, or detailed case analysis. The public record is open and waiting for you. By understanding the court's structure, knowing the exact terminology, and following the proper request procedures, you are now fully equipped to navigate this system effectively. So, with the power to access the Bergen County courts right at your fingertips, what crucial insights will you uncover next? Use this knowledge responsibly and empower your next research journey.